what can we expect in season 2?
More of the same, in essence. Although I was explaining something earlier. So much of season 1 was us getting to know each other, the characters, I mean.
Yes.
And my character in particular wanting them not to be there. It would be so lovely if they would just go away. So much of the conflict in the first season was us coming against each other and beginning to realize, well, hold on a second, we're sort of stuck here together. So should we try to make the best of it, I suppose? And by the end of season 1, we are indeed, much overused word, but indeed some sort of bizarre, dysfunctional family, but family nonetheless. And so all of that sort of past us, so the second season can begin with us coming together and not having to wonder about you. Are you? Can I trust you? Will you do your job when it's time for you to do your job? And so the adventures, the dilemmas, the conflicts that come up with the script is more pointed, and we get to go and solve these things quicker without the interpersonal chafing that occurred. That's still there because it has to be for the comedy aspect of it, because it's such diverse characters. But we're more together in the second season than we were in the first as a team.
What's it like to subvert the sort of mentor role? You're kind of like this reluctant, these kids again. Like that's been kind of your role. What's it like to be so different from the, say, Alfred Pennyworth of pop culture?
Different than what?
Than like the Alfred Pennyworth of pop culture. Alfred is the butler of Batman.
Oh yeah, well I said to Dean when I first was offered this job, reading the scripts, etc., and I said, I don't want to become Alfred in the Batcave, or John Hillerman in Magnum PI is the one I actually use more often, because I'm active. I don't, and Jenkins, and I think because of the way that the movies were created and produced with Bob Newhart playing sort of the functional role that Jenkins now fills. Bob is a much older person than I, so he wasn't as agile, wasn't as much involved in the actions of the script. I'm still able to sort of run and jump. And so I said I want to be part of that, right? And they've incorporated that. So, but because of, and also Jenkins' character is, I figure he's about 1,300 years old. I mean, he's been around for a very, very long time. So much of reality washes over him with not much trouble because he's seen so much of what's gone on in the world. And he learns stuff from these people. But in the second season, he's far more active as a protagonist with them going out.
Are we going to see more sword fighting?
There's some kind of fighting that happens, but not specifically swords. I think we've got spears and shit that Jenkins has to deal with.
That's a great book quote.
Is there an episode that you're really excited about fans to see in the second season?
I don't get really excited about any of them. I like all of them, but maybe because I'm not very well trained as an actor or not very smart as a human being, once I do something, it sort of just falls off the cliff in the back of my mind, and I concentrate on what's next. Certainly, I hold on to whatever facts need to be held on to in order for continuity's sake, but I don't get wrapped up in them beyond doing them very much. The stage is different because you live with it every day for months on end, but film-wise, you do it and you move on.
So, I mean, you've worked on television for such a long period of time. What do you enjoy most, doing television work, or do you do more movies?
Neither. I prefer the stage.
Sure. You're great in How to Succeed, by the way.
Oh, thank you. But one of the things a factoid of my life that is relevant is that most of my career has been in front of an audience. Almost 10 years on Night Court, 4 years on the Larroquette show. Every Friday night there were 300 people on stage watching us. There was an audience. So working in front of an audience has been how I learned to act on the stage in LA when I was a young actor, and in television in front of studio audiences. So the theater experience to me is very natural and feels like home, no matter how many people are out there. Doing that show with Dan Radcliffe, we had 1,400 people every night in that audience, and it was spectacular energy. So you can't beat it.
Yeah, it was great.
So any insights what happens with the library after it returns from the void?
Yeah, it's messed up. It is dysfunctional. Jenkins discovered, and he tries to keep it from the others for a while so that they don't get worried, and he wants to, because also we find out he thinks it's his fault somehow, that he wasn't able to keep it together. When it comes back, some rooms have disappeared. Some rooms are literally upside down. Some rooms are not where they're supposed to be. And so his job is to try and wrangle them all back, and eventually solicits the help of Flynn Carson to make everything right, and eventually everything is. But it's really messed up when it first comes back.
Any artifacts from your list or Jenkins list we could know coming up?
I don't know.
In particular, no. Okay.
Oh, I got a question. Speaking of that, what is your favorite artifact?
Probably the Ark of the Covenant. It's in the main library. We see it in a few episodes coming up when Jenkins is confronted by two fictionals. We have fictionals. I guess you guys, I don't know how much you know about what's going on, but we have fictional characters that come to life and we have to fight. The two of those being Prospero and Moriarty.
Nice.
And Jenkins goes head to head with them because he's even older than they are. You know? He's older than Prospero because Prospero was only around in the 1600s. So